All right. We had a little music there for the introduction. I'm trying to get situated here, so just a moment, please. There's not a lot to this, but there's something to it. I'm going to, just one moment here, make an adjustment. I think the light on the Buddha was actually, the backlight was actually interfering with the front light, so to speak. I always feel so small when I'm sitting in front of the Buddha here. But that's okay. I am pretty small. Anyway. So welcome everyone. This is Wednesday night meditation gathering at the Meditation Learning Center, Mesa, Arizona. And my name is Shane Wilson. We've been doing this for about a year now, so it's nothing new because of the coronavirus distancing situation. But I'm very happy to, be able to provide this. And I know there's a lot of activity, a lot of opportunities online for people to to be a part of groups and meditation and gatherings in the virtual world. So I think that's wonderful. So the idea is to be together while we're not together. Sounds funny, but it is something, and it works. I have a little tickle in my throat. It has nothing to do with anything except for just a little tickle, I assure you. So meditation, what we generally do in these live streams is put out an invitation for people, something inspiring, something that they can kind of grasp onto in a non-attachment way, something that they can kind of take into their meditation practice, hopefully something, fairly profound, something that can be pondered, a ponderable kind of thing. And then we usually use that as a theme for our meditation. And if we were live and there were people here at the center, we would discuss these things at the Q&A afterwards. And we're not having much of a Q&A, and I'm trying not to overly talk because that can get in the way of our meditation. So this generally goes from 7 to 8:30, but we've been cutting it back to about 8 o'clock. And maybe even a little bit shorter. We'll see what happens. Because the meditations and the talking have been kind of reduced a little bit. And then what we do with these streams is we edit them, make them a little bit smaller, a little bit more logical, a little bit less just talking, for the sake of talking, and we condense them down a little bit. So you can always come back to YouTube and stream, and to view these. Now, I got to say this is a very, very special night, not because of what I'm going to be saying or doing or anything like that. It's because for the last, 3 years, my goal and the goal of really any YouTube channel is to get 1,000 subscribers. The last time I looked at the channel, I can't see it right now, you probably can, but the last time I looked it was like 9,907. So I feel tonight is going to be the big night where we will finally reach 1,000 subscribers. And what that means is that with that number of subscribers, we can get a little bit of royalties from the ads that go that are a part of these videos and these video streams and that type of thing. And what that means is that that money goes towards the Meditation Learning Center and goes out and provides learning opportunities, teaching opportunities for more people. So this is something that we've been working on for about 3 years, and for whatever reason, it's been taking a long time to get 1,000 subscribers. Now, if I was like maybe a 16-year-old girl that showed other girls how to put makeup on or something like that, I would have had 1,000 subscribers like in the first couple of weeks that this channel went out. But meditation is a little bit different animal. And that's just an example. I'm not trying to take away from young 16-year-old girls showing other girls how to put makeup on, but I'm just saying that we can, some channels, they are like magnets and people are really attracted to them. They can be silly, they can be games, they can be all sorts of things, and people will subscribe. When it comes to meditation, we're a little bit more serious. There's very few people that would actually, sadly, I'm saying this very sadly, but there's very few people that want to be tied into a station more than a couple of minutes, and let alone do like a 30-minute meditation where there's a great deal of silence. It just is not what YouTube is designed for. But we're trying to break that mold. And anyway, thank you for being a part of this. If you haven't subscribed, maybe you can be the 1,000th person, that puts it over the edge. I hope this is true for you. Anyway, I thank you for tuning in and being a part of this. I wanted to talk a little bit about something that a couple of different things will fall into what I'm going to be mentioning here. I've been very, very fortunate to have some wonderful teachers, wonderful meditation teachers. So I know how important it is to have great teachers. I certainly don't look at myself as one of those great teachers. I look at myself as being very fortunate to have great teachers, including, from many different traditions. Bhante Gudarantana, Matthew Flickstein, and Ajahn Parot from Thailand, Genla Dekyang from the Mahayana Tibetan tradition, and many, many more. The idea of getting a good teacher and finding a good teacher isn't really, it isn't something that you search for, it's just something that happens. The old saying that when you are ready, the teacher will appear is absolutely true. And that's one of the reasons that I really hold myself open for people if they need something. And I sincerely mean that. If a person has a question, they can email me. If they want to take part in our retreats, we hold 9 retreats a year. By all means, everybody is welcome. And the reason I'm saying this is because I came across a teaching today by Jeff Foster. Jeff Foster is a non-dual teacher from England. And he's been around for a number of years. He's a young guy, but he's got a great deal amount of wisdom. And he's putting on some retreats and things like that. And some of the things that he wrote were emailed to me, by him or his people maybe. And it really struck home with me because it was very, very close to some of the teachings that I heard, particularly from Matthew Flickstein, who I just mentioned a little while ago. Matthew Flickstein was a teacher of mine. He lives in West Virginia, or Virginia, outside of Richmond. And he's a very, very incredible teacher. I was with him for a number of years. We studied Buddhism, and then we got into non-duality. And he told told me, I was sitting in front of him one time, and he said something that just resonated with me. It rung so true. And he said that, he said, you will never arrive at a place where you will be absolutely free. And I'm thinking, then what am I here? What am I trying to learn, And he said, you'll never arrive at a place where you'll be absolutely free because you're already there. And I thought, oh, okay, this is a profound teaching. And at that moment, I really didn't know how profound it is. But what he was saying, of course, is that as long as we're struggling to find freedom, as long as we're trying to be someplace where we can be better, we are just doing that. We are struggling, we're suffering to be at a different place than we already are, because we're already at that place. All we have to do is settle the mind and realize that we are in this presence, that we're in this stillness. If we can set aside the past and the future, you've heard me say this many, many times, most of you, if you've tuned in before, we create our own suffering. A lot of people say, wait, no, I don't create my own suffering. But we do. We create it in our minds. If we think about how our future is going to be, I want this, I want this so bad, and we will never be able to settle in the present moment and be content with what is happening now, with what is now, as long as we're reaching for the future, as long as we're trying to change something for the better, or viewing something that happened in the past. We want that to happen again, or we feel bad that happened, so we're damaged goods because of this thing that happened. We blame somebody else for our unhappiness. All these different scenarios. And the email, I just sent it, received it today, is from, again, Jeff Foster. Jeff Foster, go look him up if you like. Like I said, he's a non-duality teacher. He has written many, many good books. Non-duality is usually we look at it as borrowed from the Hindu tradition. It could be also Zen. There's lots of non-duality teachings in Zen, as well as Tibetan Buddhism as well. But non-duality is the teachings of it includes non-self, but it really is a teaching behind that we are one, that there is not two. Non-dual means not two. There is no this and no that. So there is no separation between me or you or me and these objects in this room. It's just our perception. It's how we perceive things. And maybe this will clear it up a little bit. This is from Jeff Foster. This is what he wrote. This is nothing I wrote or anybody else. I just want to make sure that he gets the credit for this. It says, what he wrote is, you'll never reach a point in your life where everything is solved, all neatly tied up in a bow. That's the point. There's no final scene, only the ongoing adventure movie forever unresolved. You learn to love the mess of your life. Its constantly changing nature, its unpredictability. And you stand as the immutable silence in the midst of the storm. The wide open space in which joy and pain, ecstasy and agony, boredom and bliss can arise and subside like waves in the ocean. There are no problems when you know yourself as the space for it all. By Jeff Foster. So what he's saying, I'm sure most of you got the gist of it, but he's saying that we don't come to a point where everything is where we go, oh, that's exactly how I wanted it. Now this, all my problems are solved, everything's in a nice little bundle, And that's how it's going to be. How nice. This is what I've been working for, striving for. Now I can live out the rest of my life with this cute little bundle of happiness and joy, or whatever it might be, or however we look at it. It's not going to happen that way. So he says we learn to love the mess of life. And it's a part of life. This what is happening, the uneasiness or the suffering, the confusion, the mess that we feel the world's in or something, the situations that we find ourselves in, the situations that we find the world in. It's constantly changing nature. It's unpredictability. And if you know anything about Buddhism, for example, one of the primary teachings of Buddhism is the inconsistency, or the changeability of everything, and just the idea that everything is in constant change. Nothing is stagnant. Everything is changing all the time. So how can we expect everything to come into a bundle just the way we want it so that we can finally rest? We can still rest, but we have to realize that this neat little bundle is not going to happen. The wide open space in which joy and pain, ecstasy and agony, all of this, boredom and bliss, can arise and subside like the waves in the ocean, constantly arising to our awareness and falling away, rising to our awareness and falling away like the waves in the ocean, constantly coming up and falling away. It's like every time we take a breath, there's the breath and there it goes. Every time we have a new day, we wake up in the morning, a new day, and then it goes away. The next day again. Everything is in such a cycle, and we realize that, but we forget it. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. Actually, it's just the spinning of the globe, and we understand that, spinning of the world. But it's all a constant change, and we are a part of it. We see this. So there are no problems when you know yourself as the space for all of this, that we are the container, we are the perceiver of all of this rising and falling. So we'll never reach that point in our lives where everything will be solved. Just as Matt Flickstein told me, we'll never come to that point in our lives where we will be free, that we'll find that permanent freedom, because we are already there, if we make up our minds to do so. In the same way, if we make up our minds that we don't have to strive to put everything in its exact place. We don't have to strive to make this a perfect world. It's not that we are going to say, the heck with it all, and let everything just kind of crumble, although we could do that. But we have to realize that there is a certain amount of freedom in seeing and understanding that things aren't going to be perfect. They're never going to be perfect. There's some settling in that. There's some peace. There's some freedom in that alone. Again, by Jeff Foster, this is called the Joy of Sorrow. It's simple. When you're sad, just feel sad. Don't try to be happy. Trying is exhausting. Don't push your sadness away. Don't numb it. Don't try to get over it. Don't try to transform it. Don't even try to heal it. You don't even need to accept it. Realize that it's already accepted. There is already enough room for sadness in the hugeness of your being. You are the sky. The sadness is only passing weather. You are vast. Sadness is temporary. You are eternal. Sadness longs for a home. It's simple. When you are sad, just feel sad. Bow to your sadness. Honor it. Let it rest and move, and you will know its holiness, its aliveness, its joy. So this is by Jeff Foster. How can we say that sadness, How can we say that this sadness can be joy? Simply because it is a part of our life. If we try to push, this is said a little while ago, but if we try to push and change things, it is not going to cause any happiness for us at any point, especially while we're trying to change things. At some point, there could be kind of a switch where we feel as if we've made some progress. And that progress is something that we feel that we've created. But actually, all it is a settling down. The progress that we see, to somebody else, it might not be progress at all. We just reach a point where we are accepting of the situation. But he's also saying that we don't even have to accept it. And that is acceptance itself. And so we can, if we are sad, for example, he's using sadness as the root of all of this. If we're sad and we're trying to change that sadness into happiness, that is a struggle. We are trying, just in the words, we are trying to change that sadness. And as long as we're doing that, we will be struggling and we'll be sad. But what if we accept that sadness? I am sad. I am even struggling. I am struggling. I accept that. I accept the world as it is. I accept me as I am. I accept everything as it is in the moment. And this is very, very important as a practice in meditation, to be able to accept everything as it is, especially for that moment in meditation. That is the practice itself. And that's what we're leading to in our practice right now that we'll be doing. I'm going to be guiding us through a meditation that deals with the heart of acceptance. And a lot of it will be kind of stealthy. What I mean by that is I'm not going to be leading anybody in trying to find this acceptance, because again, we're going against the grain there. We're trying to do something. We're trying to accept. We're trying to understand acceptance. But no, let's just do it. Let's accept the moment for what it is. Even if we have physical pain in the body, we can still accept it. Even if we have turmoil in the mind or agony or some kind of a PTSD or something that has been bothering us, even if we're drowsy or if we have restlessness within the mind or the body, desires for things to change or anger or fear, any of these things, we can accept all of that in the moment. And a lot of it is just giving ourselves permission to do so. So please prepare yourself for a little meditation, and I will guide us through some of this. I'm getting a little tickle. Please close your eyes, make yourself comfortable. Take a nice deep breath, gently exhale. You're likely meditating alone, or you might be with your partner. This might be the calmest that you've ever been so far today. If that's the case, I'm Very happy to be a part of that with you. I want you to accept every situation that has happened today, everything that has come up to your awareness, all the words that were said, the conversations, maybe the news, different things that were done, people that you've seen. Just accept it all. Give yourself permission to accept everything that has happened. I'm not asking, and you're not asking yourself to be happy about anything or even to be sad about anything. We're just asking for acceptance and to be able to rest in this moment. Go ahead and take another nice deep inhalation. Gently exhale. The environment you're in, the room you're in, if you're inside or outside, the space that you are a part of, is actually something that you help co-create with many other beings that had brought you to this point. It's really a beautiful thing that you are sitting here at this moment, meditating, working on yourself in such a way that you can accept everything that has happened within your entire life up to this point. Notice how that feels. Just imagine that nothing is going to get any worse and nothing is going to get any better. That this is life right now. This is your life. This is it. This is all there is. You're sitting here breathing, listening to a few words. And see if you can be thankful for this moment. A great deal of acceptance for what is. Accept and be thankful for the room that you're in, the chair or cushion that you're sitting on. The computer that you're using to listen to this or watch this. How fortunate. Complete acceptance of everything that has happened up to this point. Up to this present moment. Set aside the past. Set aside any plans for the future. No need to remember. No need to anticipate what might happen. Just complete peace of mind at this moment. And the only way that this can be achieved is through acceptance. What follows acceptance is peace and joy. Acceptance of yourself, all others, acceptance of the environment, acceptance of all the valuable lessons that were learned, everything that brought you to this moment. In order to stay with this moment, we can use the breath as an object to center ourselves. And what I mean by centering is resting in this present moment, centering between the past and the future. So when the mind wanders, just try bringing it to the breath, the movement of the breath, or the sensation. Keep coming back. Accept and be present. Be grateful for everything that has happened and is happening at this moment. Use the breath as your object of meditation. The breath represents the still presence. What's found in the still presence is peace of mind, acceptance, and a great deal of learning comes from this place. The learning is there because this is your true nature. This is you. Allowing the thoughts to dissipate. The desire for change. The restlessness of the mind to settle down. We find what we could call a sweet spot. And in this present moment, awareness is where we could actually say the magic happens, because nothing is actually happening. Nothing that we are trying to do, trying to change. But of course, everything is constantly changing. All we have to do is be the observer of this. But the more present we are as this observer, the more we can learn, the more insight. The more available knowledge comes from this place of non-striving, of presence, of perceiving this presence. As being the awareness itself. Just stay with the breath, stay with the present moment. We'll be meditating for about 10 more minutes. If you desire to be doing something else, just watch that desire. If it's difficult to stay in meditation, just notice that. If it's easy, notice that. This is a training ground. This is our classroom. Stay with the breath. Just notice the activity of the mind. Is the mind settled? Notice the sounds. Notice how everything arises to your awareness and then falls away, moment by moment. Notice how you are the observer of all this, with the option of remaining completely non-engaged, if desired. Notice how it feels to be able to cut back the thoughts of the past and future, to rest in the presence of this moment. We'll sit in silence for about 4 more minutes. Stay with the breath. Bring your hands together in front of your heart if you would like to. May each of us and all beings be well, peaceful, and happy. May no harm come to us, may no difficulties come to us, and may we all meet with spiritual and worldly success. And may we have the patience, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome any problems or difficulties that we might face in life. May we all be well, happy, and healthy. Thank you. So this meditation, the theme was acceptance, accepting the moment, and accepting everything up to this moment, and accepting everything to such an extent that we don't ask for anything more in the future. And it should have brought about a great deal of peace to be able to rest in that. Most likely we felt an urge for something to be a little different, a little desire, restlessness maybe in the body or in the mind or something like this. But we should notice these things. This is the training ground, and I mentioned that. This is really the idea behind these Eastern practices of meditation. To be able to accept, to let go, and to be able to understand our true nature, which resides in this present moment. To be able to understand the past and the future and shut that off for moments at a time. And if you have any questions about this type of meditation, please let me know. This is Vipassana or insight meditation. And the reason I say that is because there's a friend of mine, a student and a good friend, Ryan Nimick, has been doing some broadcasting. He's using Zoom as the protocol, I guess you could say, and he's. You can find out the information if you go to Ryan Nimick maybe on his Facebook channel. And he's interviewing different teachers. He interviewed me last week, and tomorrow evening he's going to be interviewing Terry Pfeiffer, who is my partner, my fiance, and she has an extensive background in meditation method that is a little bit different than what we did. It's more of a Western practice. Called the Silva method. And the Silva method has been around for many, many years. It includes many, many different styles of meditation. And so the reason I say that is because there are many different ways to meditate. Not one of them is necessarily any better than another. I practice and I teach the Eastern styles, the Eastern methods of meditation, which is steeped in what we just did, acceptance and the ability to let go and to rest in the present moment. The Silva method would have other practices, other types of ideas about how the mind comes into this state of alpha brain waves, which are the brain waves that are used during meditation, but actually using them in such a way that we can use them in a creative aspect of meditation, such as manifestation, or creating something, or some people look at the powers of the mind when we're in these states of what is called alpha. Supernatural powers, these types of things, like if something is lost, for example, what is that material? What is it made out of? Is it something that's made out of metal? And if we can find this lost item, through our meditation practice, many different aspects like that. The Silva method not only includes one type of meditation, but many, many different types of meditation. So that will be talked about tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to get this information on Meditation Learning Center. So you'll be able to go to Meditation Learning Center and find this information on there. Also, as I mentioned, you can go to Ryan Nemec, Nemec, on Facebook. And you'll be able to get the information there as far as what time the talks start, the meditation itself. So Ryan is doing a Monday night meditation and a Thursday night meditation. And of course, tomorrow night's Thursday night, and that's when he brings on other teachers, guest teachers, and gets a more rounded view of the practice of meditation. So again, there's a lot of different things happening out there, as far as broadcasting and streaming and Zooming and Facebooking and all these different things. So take advantage of these opportunities to meditate and to learn more. We're going to be streaming this, every Wednesday night. So please, be a part of it as much as you can. We have a retreat coming up, and I think that's going to be, to be honest with you, I think that's going to be canceled. So if you have signed up for the retreat, you'll get a notice that it has been canceled, and there'll be a refund of the funds that you paid, that type of thing. So if you have any questions, I say this all the time, but not everybody does it. Because people are very, very respectful of my time, but I'm sincere when I say if you have any questions, if you need help with your practice, to contact me. And you can email me at shane@meditationlearningcenter.com. And again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. We are growing. I think we're going to probably hit over 1,000 subscribers today. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I will leave it at that. We'll keep tonight a little bit short, just right at 1 hour. And please be healthy. Please be happy. Please learn to bring yourself into the present moment as much as you can. Not only in meditation, but throughout your days. The present moment is you. That's where you're going to find out the most about you. You're going to learn more about you or anything else in the world while resting in this presence. Because all of the answers will come to you. All the clarity that you need will come to you in the present moment. And it's there for you. It's there for all of us. So please use it. If I can help in any way, allow me to do that. And we'll see you next week. Tune in tomorrow to see Terry Pfeiffer and Ryan Nemec do their thing. I'll have the information for you at the Meditation Learning Center. And underneath this stream, if I can get it in there, if we can turn it around and get it in there for you. So let's do that. You come back to this stream, and then we'll have it in there for you. All right? So thank you, everyone. Mm-hmm.